Hello everyone. Today's topic is solubility. Then what is solubility? In quantitative terms, solubility is at specific temperature, maximal amount of solute that can dissolve in an amount of solvent. In qualitative way, it can be defined as when the solute, that solute may be solid, liquid or gas, is dissolved in solvent, and that solvent may be solid, liquid or gas, to form a homogeneous solution of a solute in a solvent. That is called solubility. According to IUPAC, that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, defines the solubility as an analytical composition of a saturated solution expressed as a proportion of a designated solute in a designated solvent. So the solubility of a substance depend on the solvent used and the temperature and pressure. So temperature and pressure are the major factors that affects the solubility. So this solubility of a drug can be expressed in several ways. Solubility is expressed as ppm, that is parts per million, according to British Pharmacopoeia, and in mg per ml and moles per ml. In USP, describes the solubility of a drug as the part of the drug dissolved in a particular solvent for a part of a solute. So USP describes the solubility using in several groups. That groups are very soluble, freely soluble, soluble, sparingly soluble, slightly soluble, very soluble, then practically soluble. These are the following groups or following terms which are used as a description of solubility. So uh, uh, we have discussed earlier about qualitative and quantitative. So in quantitative, that is exact definition is gram of solute that will dissolve in 100 grams of solvent to make a saturated solution at a particular temperature, or grams of solute that will dissolve in 100 ml of solvent to make saturated solution at a particular temperature. That is called solubility. And in terms of qualitative, that it is defined as the spontaneous interaction of two or more substances to form a homogeneous molecular dispersion. So as per BP and as per USP, defined solubility, number of parts of solvent required to dissolve one part of the solute as a particular temperature, or the number of milliliters of solvent in which 1 gram of solute will dissolve. Then what are the factors that affect the solubility? So main factors are temperature and pressure. So first factor is temperature. So most liquid dissolve with absorption of heat, and the solubility of such solids increase as the temperature increases. For example, solubility of NaCl, NaNO3, KNO3 in water increases with the temperature. For solid, which dissolves with the evolution of heat, increase in temperature causes a decrease in solubility. For example, solubility of calcium hydroxide in water. Then this effect of for temperature represented by the use of solubility curves. Then what are the solubility curves? In solubility curves, we have taken on x-axis temperature and on y-axis concentration of solubility. So solubility curves are the curves drawn between the solubility and temperature. It shows the effect of temperature on a solubility of a substance. The solubility curves of substances like calcium acetate and calcium carbonate shows decrease in solubility, while those of sodium nitrate, lead nitrate shows a considerable increase in solubility with increase in temperature. There are different solubility parameters. That solubility parameters explained with the help of Hildebrand equation. That Hildebrand proposed this equation in 1936, and this equation is the square root of the cohesive energy density. Cohesive energy density is called Hildebrand proposed parameter. Then these are the solubility curves. On x-axis temperature, on y-axis solubility. That particular solute grams in per 100 gram of water. Particular solute, that solute may be sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate, then sodium chloride, and these are the different solubility curves of different solute. Then many drugs behave as a weak acid or weak base, so their solubility is affected by the pH of the aqueous solvents. The ionized form of the acidic and basic drug is considered as a soluble, whereas unionized form as insoluble. A weakly basic drug is more soluble in acidic medium, and acidic drug is more soluble in basic medium, because these can ionize properly and are insoluble in their relevant medium due to the poor ionization, because due to the common ion effect. That common ion effect is that may be H or OH ions. A weakly acidic drug such as acetyl salicylic acid, known as aspirin, will be more soluble in alkaline medium, since it may be ionized properly, or secondly, it may be converted to more soluble salts such as sodium salicylate. Conversely, acetyl salicylic acid may be precipitated if strong acid is added to the aqueous solution. So, similarly, basic drugs such as sulfonamides will be more soluble in acidic medium. Basic drug will be precipitated from aqueous solution if the pH of the solution is raised by the addition of strong base due to the common ion effect, and that common ion is OH ions. And in case of acetyl salicylic acid, aspirin, the common ion is H ions. Second factor is particle size. The particle size of the solid also affect the solubility in a given solvent. Generally, decrease in the particle size cause an increase in the solubility. This is because of the decrease in particle size, which leads to increase in surface area and increase in surface free energy, which enhance the solubility. Then next factor is molecular structure modification. The slightly modification in the molecular structure of the solid may lead to the marked changes in their solubility in a given solvent. For example, if weak acid such as acetic acid, weak electrolyte and it is pure soluble and is converted into salt form, that is sodium acetate, its ionic dissociation in water increase markedly, leading to an increase in the interaction between the solute and the solvent, which ultimately leads to increase in the solubility. Another example is chloramphenicol, which is soluble in water. So that solubility can be decreased by the modification such as esterification. So that chloramphenicol is soluble in water, and after esterification it is converted into chloramphenicol palmitate, which is poorly soluble. Such decrease in solubility is sometimes beneficial in the pharmaceutical practice, since this decrease in solubility helps in taste masking of certain drugs such as chloramphenicol, which is that chloramphenicol has bitter taste, and after esterification the taste is little bit improved, and which is used in pharmaceutical formulation effectively, especially in liquid dosage form. So that poorly soluble drug, that after conversion it converted into chloramphenicol palmitate. This is the best example for decrease in solubility after modification. And Next factor is common ion effect. This process in which solubility of a weak electrolyte is reduced by the addition of strong electrolyte, which has common into that of weak electrolyte. After ionization of sodium chloride in water can be represented as a equilibrium constant expression, which is sodium chloride is converted into, it dissociate into sodium or chloride ion. After addition of hydrochloric acid, that H ion it dissociate ionize into H ion plus Cl ion. On passing HCl gas to the aqueous solution of the sodium chloride, concentration of chloride ion is increased. Therefore, some of the sodium chloride is precipitated out and maintain the constant value of the equilibrium constant. This is called the common ion effect, which reduce the solubility. Then next factor is complex formation. The apparent solubility of some solute in a liquid may increase or decrease by the addition of substance that forms a complex which is either more or less soluble. Solubility of iodine in water is increased by addition of potassium iodide, which forms a soluble complex, that is potassium Ki3. तो ये है हमारा iodine is insoluble. After addition with Ki, it is converted into complex, that is Ki3, which is soluble in water. On the other hand, solubility of tetracycline is reduced when it forms complex with calcium. So tetracycline is combined with calcium. That calcium is the part of the diet or another OTC drug or another medication. So that calcium is combined with tetracycline and it's converted into calcium tetracycline, which is a complex, and it is poorly soluble complex. So that calcium reduce the therapeutic activity of the tetracycline. Then next factor is next effect is surfactants, which is also known as solubilizing agents. So solubility of a poor soluble drugs may be enhanced by the technique using as micellar solubilization, which involves the use of surfactant for increasing the solubility. With the surfactant having hydrophilic, that is water loving, or lipophilic, hydrophobic, water hating portion is added to a liquid, is rearranged itself to form a spherical arrangements, spherical aggregates, that is known as micellase. Or these micellase behaves in aqueous medium differently, and in oily medium, non-aqueous medium is behave another type of micellate. Then in aqueous medium, the surfactant molecule orientate in such a manner that their hydrophilic portion faces the water and lipophilic portions resides in the micellar interior. An insoluble compound added to the surfactant liquid enters the micellar interior and gets dissolved. That circular portion is this circular portion is hydrophilic, and this is a tail, that is hydrophobic part, lipophilic part. In aqueous medium, the hydrophilic parts that hydrophilic part is that part faces the water, and that lipophilic part prepare a hole which is suitable for non-aqueous medium. Similarly, for non-aqueous medium, the surfactant molecules orientate in such a manner that their hydrophobic portion faces the non-aqueous liquid and hydrophilic portion resides the micellar interior. An insoluble compound such as water added to the surfactant liquid enters the micellar interior and get solubilized. तो यहाँ पे देखिए these are the inverted micellae. तो यहाँ पे अब हाइड्रोफोबिक पोर्शन जो है उसने नॉन एक्वस की तरफ फेस कर लिया है, और हाइड्रोफिलिक पार्ट जो है वो अब एक यहाँ पे उसने वो अंदर की साइड पर है, और दैट इज बेस्ट कंफर्टेबल फॉर जो अगर अभी आप इसमें फिलिक पोर्शन ऐड करते हैं तो वो हाइड्रोफिलिक पोर्शन जो है वो इजीली उसको अपने साथ मिक्स कर लेगा, तो ये हमारे इनवर्ट माइसिले फॉर्म हो जाते हैं इन केस ऑफ नॉन एक्वस लिक्विड्स. Then next is solubility of electrolytes. That electrolytes, solubility of electrolytes depend upon the dielectric constant. So the solubility of electrolyte is water primarily depend on the dissociation of the dissolved molecule into the ion, and the ease with which the electrolyte dissociate depend on the dielectric effect. For example, sodium chloride. That sodium chloride is easily soluble in water because the sodium chloride easily dissociate into sodium ions and chloride ion, which is perfectly soluble in water. And in case of water soluble non-electrolytes such as alcohol, to an aqueous solution of a sparingly soluble salt, that decreases the solubility of sparingly soluble electrolytes, that is salt. This effect is due to the lowering of dielectric constant of solvent by an non-electrolyte, and this in turns reduce the dissociation of the salt. और अगर डिसोसिएशन ऑफ द सॉल्ट जो है वो रिड्यूस होगा तो उसकी वजह से सॉल्युबिलिटी पे इफेक्ट पड़ेगा. ओके, तो ये हमारे हमने अभी यहाँ पे स्टडी किया है. These are the different factors, following factors which affect the solubility. After that, we have discussed about in next class we discuss about the solubility of gases in liquid, then solubility of solid in liquid, solubility of gases in gases, and what is the role of dielectric constant, what is Raoult's law, what are azeotropic mixtures. So in next class we are going to discuss these remaining part. So good day, best of luck, thank you.